In a small, vibrant village nestled between hills and lush forests lived Amelia, a young woman known for her beauty and kind heart. She was the pride of the village, admired by many for her grace, intelligence, and her ability to unite people with her wisdom. However, Amelia had a secret ambition, one she kept to herself. As time passed, the village leaders began to seek Amelia's hand in marriage, each one vying for her affection. They were powerful men, each leading a different faction of the village: trade, defense, and agriculture. However, Amelia did something unexpected. She made an offer that left everyone stunned. "I will marry not just one of you," she declared boldly in front of the village elders and leaders, "but all of you." The leaders agreed to her terms, but the village became divided. Some people supported Amelia's choice, believing she could unite the leaders for the good of the village. Others were suspicious, wondering what her true motives were. Whispers of doubt spread through the community, but Amelia remained unfazed, preparing for her unique marriage. The day of the first wedding arrived. The leader of trade was the first to marry Amelia. The village gathered to witness the ceremony, curious about how this unprecedented arrangement would unfold. As the vows were exchanged, Amelia remained poised. Yet there was an air of mystery surrounding her. Soon after, Amelia married the leader of defense. The wedding was equally grand, but whispers of intrigue followed the ceremony. People wondered why Amelia was so determined to marry all the leaders. Each leader seemed satisfied yet uneasy, as if waiting for the other shoe to drop. Finally, Amelia married the leader of agriculture, completing her union with all the village leaders. Yet, even after all 3 weddings, Amelia's intentions remained unclear. The village was abuzz with speculation. Why had she married all the leaders? What was she planning? In the days that followed, the 3 leaders met in secret, discussing the strange circumstances of their marriages. They each loved Amelia, but none could shake the feeling that there was more to her plan than simple unity. Why had she insisted on marrying all 3 of them? They decided to confront her, demanding to know the truth behind her actions. Amelia sensed the growing tension. One evening, she invited the 3 leaders to her home. As they gathered, ready to demand answers, Amelia smiled, a quiet, knowing smile. "I have united you all for the sake of the village," she said simply. But her smile, her calm demeanor, left them with more questions than answers. As the days passed, the leaders grew more anxious. Amelia's words echoed in their minds, but no one dared to confront her again. The village, meanwhile, seemed more united than ever, but beneath the surface, a new mystery was taking shape. The question lingered: what was Amelia's true plan, and why had she chosen this path? Tensions in the village began to simmer. Although Amelia's marriages had brought a temporary peace and unity, not everyone was content. Some villagers whispered that she wielded too much influence over the 3 leaders. A growing faction of villagers began to question whether Amelia's intentions were truly for the good of the community, or if she had a hidden agenda no one could fathom. One morning, the village woke to find that Amelia had disappeared. No one had seen her since the last meeting with the leaders, and her absence sparked concern among some and relief among others. The leaders, now without their unifying force, began to drift apart, each returning to their own ways of running the village, but with growing suspicion toward one another. Without Amelia to maintain balance, the leaders quickly found themselves at odds. They accused each other of hiding information about her whereabouts. Suspicion and frustration turned into open conflict. The leader of defense began to station his warriors near the borders of the village, while the leader of trade threatened to cut off supplies unless he received answers. The leader of agriculture, usually calm, started behaving erratically, convinced there was a deeper conspiracy at play. Just when it seemed the village was on the brink of chaos, a stranger appeared, a woman cloaked in a dark shawl, her face obscured. She came with a message for the leaders. "Amelia has left because you have failed her test," she said cryptically. "But if you want her back, you must prove yourselves worthy." The woman's words sent shockwaves through the village. The leaders, desperate to find Amelia and restore order, decided to embark on a journey to prove their worth. But the woman gave them no clear instructions. All she left behind were vague clues, each one more cryptic than the last. The leaders had no choice but to follow them, hoping they would lead them to Amelia. Their journey took them deep into the forest, where the first clue awaited them. A series of ancient symbols carved into a tree trunk revealed a hidden path. But as they followed it, the leaders started to turn on one another, blaming each other for the chaos that had overtaken the village. Was this part of Amelia's plan all along? As they ventured further, they encountered a lone villager from a neighboring settlement. He claimed to have seen Amelia in the forest, speaking to animals as if they were her confidants. The leaders didn't know whether to believe him, but his story only deepened the mystery surrounding Amelia's true intentions. The deeper they went into the forest, the more the leaders' distrust grew. Old grudges resurfaced, and soon they were arguing more than they were searching for Amelia. The forest, once vibrant and alive, now felt oppressive, as if it was closing in on them. Could it be that Amelia had led them into a trap? Just when it seemed the leaders would turn on one another completely, they saw her. Amelia standing at the edge of the forest, her figure barely visible through the mist. But as they rushed toward her, she disappeared again, leaving them more confused and desperate than ever. Was she testing them, or was she leading them further into danger? As the leaders reached the spot where Amelia had stood, they found nothing but silence. The forest had swallowed her once again. Their journey was far from over, and they knew they had no choice but to keep going, no matter what awaited them. But in the back of their minds, a question lingered. Had they already lost her for good? The leaders, shaken by Amelia's sudden appearance and disappearance, pressed on. Every step they took felt heavier, the once familiar forest now a labyrinth of shadows. The path grew narrower, and the sounds of the forest seemed distant, as if the trees themselves were hiding secrets. But none of them dared to turn back. Each was too driven by pride, too determined to be the one who found Amelia first. As the leaders ventured deeper, they came across a strange clearing where 3 stone pillars stood, each inscribed with a riddle. The voice of the mysterious woman echoed in the air. "Only one of you will find Amelia. The others must choose to trust or betray." Each leader was now faced with a choice: continue together or break off on their own. In that moment, their true natures were revealed. The defense leader chose to rely on his strength, believing that power would lead him to Amelia. The trade leader, ever the strategist, decided to follow his own logic and cleverness. The agriculture leader, though uncertain, chose to stay behind, feeling that patience and understanding would bring him closer to the truth. Each took a different path, believing it was the right one. The defense leader, believing that strength would solve every problem, marched forward with confidence. But the deeper he went, the more the forest resisted him. The branches seemed to grow thicker, the ground harder to walk on. Soon he found himself trapped, surrounded by thick vines. His strength, it seemed, could not conquer everything. Meanwhile, the trade leader, confident in his intellect, followed a path that seemed logical, but every turn he took led him deeper into confusion. The symbols he thought he understood became meaningless, and soon he found himself lost in a maze of trees that all looked the same. His cleverness, it seemed, had led him astray. Back in the clearing, the agriculture leader sat patiently, reflecting on everything that had happened. He realized that perhaps the key wasn't to force a solution or to outwit the situation, but to understand it. And then, as if the forest had been waiting for him to see clearly, Amelia appeared once more, this time standing right before him. Amelia looked at the agriculture leader with a gentle smile. "You have learned the lesson the others could not," she said softly. "Strength and cleverness are important, but they are not everything. Patience, understanding, and humility, these are the true qualities of a leader." As she spoke, the forest seemed to grow brighter, as if reflecting the truth of her words. Amelia helped the agriculture leader rise, and together they made their way back to the village. The other leaders, having failed their trials, would return later, humbled by their experiences. But Amelia knew that the village needed more than just strength and cleverness. It needed wisdom, compassion, and understanding, qualities that the agriculture leader had shown. When they arrived at the village, Amelia addressed the people. "Leaders are not just those who are strong or clever," she said. "True leadership comes from the heart, from patience, from listening, and from understanding the needs of all. Only then can a village truly prosper." The villagers, moved by her words, realized that they too had lessons to learn. With Amelia's guidance, the village found a new sense of harmony. The leaders returned, wiser from their journeys, and worked together with newfound respect. And though challenges would arise again, the village now knew that true leadership wasn't just about power or cunning, it was about wisdom, patience, and understanding. True leadership is not about power or cleverness, but about patience, understanding, and wisdom. Only by listening to the needs of others can a leader bring lasting peace and prosperity to their people. Hope you like this story. Subscribe if you find the story interesting.